This is Betty Traciak from kittystamp.blogspot.com with a project for Split Coast Stampers. This is a bracelet made with scrapbook paper. I used Stampin' Up! Designer Series paper to make paper beads and used an elastic thread. I also designed a box to fit and have the instructions for that as well. For this project, you need scrapbook paper that is cut into strips that are 1 inch by 3.5 inches. You need between 20 and 25 strips depending upon the size of the bracelet that you will be making. You need a pencil, which is smooth as opposed to one that has ridges, a glue that will dry without tackiness, and an elastic beading thread. Take one of the pieces of paper and hold the pencil near the bottom and begin to wrap that strip of paper tightly until you get all the way to the top. Let that back just a tad. Add a bit of glue. And then I like to use a piece of cardstock that has been trimmed to evenly distribute the glue. And then I hold that just for a moment until it begins to get a bit tacky. And then set that aside to dry. Next, take a 2-yard length of thread and center one of the beads in the middle. Take the second bead and take the right hand thread through the right hand side of the bead and the left hand thread through the left hand side of the bead. Once you can grab both ends, pull those until the beads nest together. Then continue with the third bead. Again, taking the right hand thread through the right hand side of the bead and the left hand thread through the left hand side of the bead. This is the way that you continue all the way until you get the length of the bracelet that you would like. Once you have the desired length, give that a tug so that make sure that everything is snugged up, and fold it in half. Take the right hand side of the thread and thread that through the right hand side of the first bead. And again, give that a little tug, get everything nice and snug, and tie a small knot on the side. Then that can be trimmed. Then I just take that and wiggle that a little bit so that the ends will go in. Then I just adjust this slightly so that that knot can get hidden. I made the box using a cardstock base and a scrapbook paper lid. The dimensions for that are, for the base, the cardstock needs to be cut at 5 1/4 inches by 8 inches and then scored at 1 inch and 2 inches on all sides. For the lid, use scrapbook paper, score that at 3 3/8 by 6 1/8 inch, scored at 1/2 and 1 inch on all sides. So I use the scrapbook paper for this. This fits quite snugly. If you were to use cardstock, because it is bulkier, this dimension needs to be adjusted a little bit. In that case, this 6 1/8 would need to be increased to 6 1/4. Everything else stays the same. I've already scored my papers. So this has been scored at 1 inch and 2 inches all the way around. This has been scored at 1/2 inch and 1 inch all the way around. You can see that there are 4 squares in the corner. 3 of those squares need to be cut away. I go from this end, cut all the way up to the second line, because that will form the tab, and then cut away each of the 3 squares. That needs to be done on each side. Once that is done, I go back to the tabs and trim those slightly so that that will fold together better. Then I do the exact same thing to the lid. So here are both the box lid and the box base. Once those are trimmed, they need to be folded on all of the score lines. Next, on the outside of the box, apply adhesive to each tab. Flip it over and add adhesive to each of the outer tabs. And then assemble the box. And the exact same assembly for the top of the box. Apply on the outer side adhesive to each tab, and on the underside along each of the outer tabs. Then you can decorate however you choose. I used things from the Eastern Palace Suite by Stampin' Up to decorate mine.